Hello, my name is Elazar Meroz, and I'm the Academic Director at TAV College, and I'm very happy to be welcoming the group of new students that will be starting at TAV for the fall 2020 academic year. What makes TAV stand out as a college is the close relationship that we foster between teachers and students to ensure your academic success. We have a large number of international students coming to TAV this year, and for many of you, this is your first time coming to Canada. So I'd like to take some time to talk to you about the programs, to talk to you about our philosophy, to talk to you about our objectives, to make sure that your experience at TAV is successful and productive and helps you achieve your goals. In order to achieve those goals, we will hire the best teachers, we will put together the best program that we can, and we will ensure that you are able to have a very productive, practical, and useful learning experience that will help you integrate into the Canadian and Quebec workforce. But you must be an active partner in this process. So there's a lot that we can do, but there's very much that you need to do. And the partnership between the school, the teachers, the students will ensure that those goals are met. Now, this year is a particular year. We face a lot of challenges, so I'd like to talk to you about some of those challenges and some of those realities that are specific to this year. And as international students, I think you probably have a lot of questions. I hope I'll be able to address a number of those. So firstly, I'd like to say is that many of our classes are going to be online this year. This is true for both students, international students as well as local students, and we have no choice because of regulations that have been imposed upon us and the reality of the COVID situation. So many classes are online, but it does not mean that everything is online. We still, whenever possible, we are going to be attempting to be putting classes in the building, having students enter in the building for some laboratories. Certainly, if those of you that are taking science courses, all the science labs are going to be on site, and some of the tutorials as well. So, generally speaking, most of the classes are online, but you need to be ready for some component in many classes on site, and examinations and evaluations for all classes being on site. That brings us to access to the building. The building is going to be open all day long, just as it was during the last 20, 30 years. We open up early in the morning. The building is open until late at night, till 10, 11 o'clock at night. We will be making the building accessible to students so that they can use the common areas for studies. They can have access to the laboratories, to do their to the computer laboratories, to be using the computers and the softwares that they may be needing. You will be able to come into the building. However, you need to understand that access to the building is going to be with very strict enforcement of social distancing measures and regulations. So the 2-meter distance between students is obviously, that goes without saying, and I think that's something that not only is it a regulation from the government, it's a common decency to respect the other people around you and the concerns that people may have for their own health. You will be required to wear a mask in the building whenever you are walking around or in a common area. The latest information that we have from the ministry is that while you are sitting down at a desk, you do not need to wear a mask. As long as those regulations are in force, or are in place, we will be enforcing them. So those are some of the things that you need to consider. When you enter the building, there's going to be washing stations so that you can wash your hands with alcohol, as well as similar stations in every single floor. We also will have special individuals coming around to disinfect rooms from time to time. So that is how the access to the building is going to be functioned. Again, I'd like to mention that exams are going to be on site. We need to do this in order to ensure fairness in courses. So we will be attempting as much as possible, and we will be putting a great deal of effort into trying to ensure that exams are on site, unless teachers are comfortable with online exams. But I think you need to be prepared for you need to be prepared for on-site exams. Now, we recognize that there may be exceptional circumstances where a student cannot come on site. Exceptional circumstances are handled on a case-by-case basis. And we will find solutions for those students. Whatever those solutions may be, they will involve supervising your exams, whether it's on-site or remotely, but it is not the first choice. It is a fallback position. Now, for international students, when I have orientation with international students, I always like to talk to you a little bit about the educational system, because very often as students come to TAV, we notice that they are coming to Quebec, or they're coming to Canada without fully understanding what they're applying for, and we hope that you've done your research beforehand, that you've called the office, and that you've applied for the program that best suits your interests and goals. But I'll just very briefly tell you how the educational system works in Quebec. Students finish high school. After high school, they go to CEGEP, and then they go to university. CEGEP is divided into two broad categories. One category is DEC programs, which are diploma programs, and AECs, which are attestation programs. Within the diploma programs, we have diploma programs that are meant specifically as a pre-university option, and we have diploma programs which are meant as career options. So if you've applied to a DEC program that's a pre-university option, for example, science, which we have a few streams in, like pure and applied and social or mathematics, or if you would apply to a social science program with either a general or commerce stream, we hope that you've given thought to what you've applied to, because those are programs that are designed specifically to prepare students for admission to university. We do have career DECs, which are 3-year programs, which also are 3-year programs. They do both prepare you for university as well as give you admission, as well as give you access to the workforce. The vast majority of international students that we see are applying to AEC programs. AEC programs are short programs. They're either 1 or 2-year programs. They also are fewer courses per semester, especially if you're doing it over a two-year transition. These programs focus exclusively on job training skills. There's no general education component, and there are a variety of AEC programs, and we hope and we assume that you've chosen the AEC program that best suits your interests. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the AEC programs that we're offering. We have an AEC program which is called Office Systems Technology, which is a combination of various office skills together with computers, computerized accounting and payroll. Graduates in this program will find employment in accounting firms or in payroll services in companies or general administration in businesses. We also have a special education program that comes both in an AEC and a DEC. That's to work in special needs, with children with special needs, adults with special needs. We have an early childhood education program, again, both in a DEC and in an AEC variety. That's to work in garderies or special or childcare settings, which is, this diploma is required by the government of Quebec in order to work in a childcare setting in the province of Quebec. We have a program in project management. The vast majority of applicants in that program are engineers. It is a 1-year program, specifically to a 1 or 2-year program, actually. We have both options. And it is specifically to prepare people to become project managers. We have an international trade program for students who are interested in general business and in the field of international trades. For those of you that are interested in computer-related fields, we have digital marketing, which is focusing heavily on web design and creating websites that are that have taken into account search engine optimization as well as search engine marketing. So there's a big marketing component to it, integrated into a web design shell. Networking, for those that would like to work as network technicians, and those that are interested in more of a programming direction, we have mobile application programming as well as internet programming. Now, what we do see sometimes is students apply to one AEC and they find after 1 semester they say, this AEC isn't really in line with my interests, or there's a different AEC that I am more interested in. There is no problem. Students can switch from one AEC to another. That happens. There's nothing wrong with it. but we are not always able to transfer the credits from one AEC to another. AECs are very well defined. There's a structure to these AECs, so there's a list of courses that you need to complete in order to graduate. In some cases, for example, going from let's say office systems accounting to digital marketing, we might have individual courses that will be given equivalency for, but that's not always the case. So you have to understand that if it's a 2-year program and you did 1 semester in one program and you choose to switch to another, then you may be back to doing 2 more years. But if the program you're in really doesn't suit your interest, sometimes that is a better choice. We ask students to quickly try to assess that they've applied to the program that they're interested in, and understand that within the first 2 weeks of school, you still have time to switch. Obviously, it's not that easy if you missed a week or 2 of classes, but if after the first week of class, you quickly determine that this, you very clearly determine, that what you're registered in is not precisely what you're looking for, and you'd like to go to another program, we ask you to speak to the student advisor as quickly as possible, because after 2 weeks, it is no longer possible to switch programs. We actually have a drop date after the second, the drop deadline after the second week. So it's very important that you are very aware of those drop deadlines. Another thing which I would like to mention is that in order to be able to access education this semester, what's going to no, wait a second. Doesn't matter, because he'll see that there was a cut in the middle. Okay. Okay. I'm moving back to after. This is after the changing program. 1, 2, 3. Another thing that you need to consider is that in order for this educational experience to be successful, you need to be on top of your game. Do not procrastinate. Don't push things off right away at the beginning of the term. You need to be attending all your classes, even if those classes are online. You need to be receiving your assignments, you need to be submitting your work, and you need to be aware of how to have access to all of your course subjects and material. And in order to have access to that, we use a online portal called Omnivox, and there is on the following link on this online orientation, you will see all the details that you need to have in order to be able to access your courses online through Omnivox. I very strongly want to emphasize the importance of going online, immediately checking your courses, checking your assignments, logging in when a class is synchronous, meaning that if the class that you're taking, the components of the class that have to be attended at a specific time with the teacher, it is important that you are on top of your game so that this experience is successful. You will get out of the college as much as you put into it, and ultimately, we believe that this is, or I believe, and I think everybody in the college will tell you that the choice you made is a good choice, the college you've chosen is a good choice, and the province you've chosen to come to is a great choice too. Quebec is an amazing place for education. It is an amazing place to live. It is probably the most diverse, inclusive, and warm place to live in Canada. It is dynamic, it is interesting, and we really hope that this is the beginning of a very successful and happy journey for you. Thank you.